Hi guys, my name is Julian Hemmings, otherwise known as the People's Champ. I'm with the great criminal defense lawyer Barton Morris. We're out here in Michigan, and I want to ask some questions about how we started, business lessons, and on entrepreneurship.
Thanks for coming to my office.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man. So, kind of talk us through like you choosing to go to law school. What was that journey like for you?
A lot of people go to law school because they don't know what else to do. Honestly, that's what happened to me. My father was a lawyer, and I just, loved what he did, and I was like, I want to do that. Not even really knowing what being a lawyer meant, right? And so I went to law school just to be like my father. That's really it, right? Like I going to college and just kind of not really understanding what to do next, and so I made a good choice because I do, very much love it. But I'll be honest with you, when I chose to go to law school, it was just because I was doing what the person whom I wanted to be like most, which was my dad.
And what were some challenges on that road to go into law school or being in law school that you had to overcome?
Law school is a very competitive environment, which you already know, right? And I think one of the challenges is that I had to obtain some esteem, some self-esteem to know that I could do it. Because I remember going into law school thinking, I'm not sure if I can do this, right? Like this is like a very competitive thing. I might not make it out of the first year. And I think that kind of held me back a little bit, right? Like I didn't have a high enough self-esteem because the second year and the third year, I completely excelled. In fact, I was at the top of my class for the rest of my time there.
Yeah.
Because then I was like, wait, I can do this. In fact, I can do it well. And that actually was a big learning experience for me, right? Like I went from thinking I wasn't sure if I could accomplish something because when you go to law school, you just like hear about like how difficult it may be, how competitive it is, the bar exam, all this and that, right? And the reality is, it's not difficult at all, right? That's why I told you that the bar is not difficult. The bar is not difficult because it's only difficult for people who don't study, right? Or don't prepare, or don't have a plan. Like law school is just like anything else, in your career. It's not hard. It requires discipline, and it requires hard work. It requires a plan. It requires a desire to achieve, and the self-confidence necessary to know that you
So
can.
people want to apply to law school, they have this idea of like going in with T14 or bust, right? Like you gotta go, if you're not going to top 14 law school, the heck with it. But from your office, you see how proud you are of going to Michigan State, how wonderful that regional school was to build those connections. What do you say to students, man, who are just kind of like thinking like, I gotta go to this particular school, or I gotta do this particular thing? What do you say to students, man, or people who are applying to law school on that journey of just finding schools, the right schools? How do you think about it?
I spoke to Mike Morris recently.
Yeah.
He has the biggest personal injury law firm in the state of Michigan.
Right.
He settles $300 million in cases a year. And he went to what I consider the worst law school in the state of Michigan. Because it doesn't really matter what law school you went to. It doesn't really matter what even undergrad you went to. What matters is what your plans are to do with that degree, right? Because you going to the school that you go to, you're going to be provided a lot of opportunities that somebody like me wasn't going to be provided, right? So that matters, right? But that doesn't mean that I couldn't achieve those same things, right? Like if I wanted to and I had a plan to do it, if I wanted to go get a job at a big law firm, at the time I didn't think that was available to me, but now I know better. Now I know that actually is available to me. If I wanted to pursue that and accomplish it, I could have done it. And so what I didn't know at the time that I know now is that anything is within our ability to be able to to receive. It's just a matter of having the perseverance and the dedication and the plan necessary in order to make it happen. Doesn't matter what school you went to. It does matter that you get a degree and you pass the bar, because if you can't do those things, then you can't be a lawyer.
Right. I think like what I'm finding is being a big issue, especially for people who are applying to law school, is just them being bombarded with the elitism of the profession. And so you're actually in practice, right? You know, how does, I mean, is elitism still a factor, or when you're actually in practice, or is it just more about the work you're actually doing?
Elitism. I think you probably get that a lot from just your school. I don't see like the practice of law being an elitist profession.
Why not?
It's a service profession. Like I serve other people, right? I'm not like better than them, right? I help people with their problems. I don't perceive that. I can understand why others might, and I can understand why law students might feel that way, because when you're in law school, you think about all the different types of success that can be achieved with a degree, right? The fact is that you can achieve all types of success without the degree, and it's like any other profession. Even if it's a plumber or a doctor or any other profession, we're all here to serve somebody else and help them solve their problems.
Amazing. You know, you got your bar license in 1998, and that's the year I was born. What do you think? Yeah. What do you think has allowed you to have such a long-running, career? What's that skill? Is it the discipline? Is it resilience? What are those traits that you have that allows you to kind of keep going in hard times?
It's simply just by working hard and continuing to think about what I'm going to do next. Like I have plans to grow this firm, right? Like, and to grow it and to have 10 lawyers working out of this office, right? And so it's all about planning and execution, learning. That's actually one of the biggest things that I can teach you and others, which is to always learn for yourself, right? Like you should always be learning how to do things, right? Reading books. I love reading books now. It's one of the things that I didn't realize, that like really you should be investing in yourself, not just reading books, going to conferences, going to seminars, just always learning about whatever you want to be best at. Learning from other people, right? Like associating yourself with other people, right? That are going to teach you. Investing in yourself is the best investment that you can make, because the return on that investment is significant. I had done that earlier, but there's significant information to learn about how to run a business, about hiring people, holding them accountable, about the finances of a business, about marketing and sales and production, about your factory, your office space, your equipment, your human resources, like labor, like all of these things they're all principles of any business, in every business. They all apply to this too. Cost of goods sold, the cost of our services sold,
right.
Profitability, efficiency, all of that stuff is these are just basic general business principles that lawyers and I think other professional service industries and professions don't think apply to us, like, and they apply equally to us as any other type of company.
So, in the birth of AI, right? You see all technology, like, how has, the year 2020 till now, like, how has your practice changed with the integration of technology? Has it changed much?
Of course. I mean, I remember it's changed dramatically. I remember the internet only, like, I remember just getting the internet when I was in law school. That's when the internet kind of came out and it became big. Now we're dealing with AI. We're incorporating it in everything that we like everything that I can possibly think of, right? Like, and this is just the beginning of that, so it's changing over time. Like I used to, we would get somebody get pulled over by the police, and then the police would have cameras in their cars. And I remember when they never even had cameras in their cars, right? So then they got cameras in their cars. I used to get those videos like on a VHS tape. You know what a VHS tape is? You probably don't. You probably never seen one. Well, but then we used to get them on CDs, right? You probably never even seen a CD player, have you?
Blu-rays where I started.
Okay. Well, and now they got body cam videos, right? Like this has only happened within the past 5 years. And when I get these videos now, they get them emailed to me, right? I used to have a whole closet full of VHS tapes from traffic stops, and for some reason I felt like I had to hold on to them. I remember I had to throw a whole bunch of them away. And now I get the stuff on email. The practice, just like in life, it evolves, and it's evolving quickly. And I love keeping up with it. I love using ChatGPT. Every single day I use it in many different ways.
Wow. So if you're starting a new practice, right? You're leaving your law firm, building it out. What are some must-have legal softwares that a lawyer should have implemented into their practice on day one?
It depends on what.
You're doing criminal defense.
I think you have to have a law practice management software. You don't have to. I mean, depends how big. It depends on what type of practice you want to build. Because I think that it's completely legitimate and reasonable for somebody to want to just build their own practice where they only work for themselves, right? And the other models are completely legitimate as well, where you might want to have 5 lawyers working for you or 2 lawyers working for you, right? But my law practice management software that we use, I think is invaluable.
What do you use?
It's called Clio, which is very, very common in the industry. I remember that the first time that I got a law practice management software, it was called Amicus Attorney. And back then, they weren't cloud-based, right? Like we had to install that software on our server and then administer it to all of the, I don't even have a server anymore. Like we used to have a server that would, like a computer that was like in a closet that would serve and be connected to all of its workstations, right? And so the software was installed in the server, and then each workstation could access it, and that's how everybody would share the data that was in the software that was on the server, right? And then obviously about 10 years ago is when cloud-based document sharing and software was being, and obviously all of our software now is on the cloud, right? Like our CRM, which is another important software, which is our contact management system. So like when a new client, like when that we use to manage our new potential clients, right? And to communicate and contact them. I mean, it goes on and on. Like we have a software that we use, we have a company that we use for our human resources, a lot of our human resources that help pays our employees and manages their paid time off.
What's that software called?
It's a company called Tryon, right across the street.
Really?
Yeah. They're called a professional organization employer. Like they specialize in taking small and large companies and doing all of their like human resources, like their workers' compensation, their payroll, their what else they do? Insurances, like their health insurance and all their different insurance packages.
And you have a ton of clients, right? So how are you using technology to keep them all organized?
The practice management software, and then also the document management software.
That's all in Clio?
No, well, yeah, there's part of it, it's in Clio, so we keep documents in Clio, but we also use Dropbox, right? So like we keep all of our files on Dropbox, or there's Microsoft, like Microsoft has a suite of software, for like word processing, and spreadsheets and communication. Microsoft Teams, we use it as like a chat, like an
Wow.
internal chat. It's,
No, it's incredible because like even being here for a couple of minutes actually, like I'm seeing your team come in, and they know how to move things, how to organize things, where the cases are all set up. How are you training the people?
we put them through training. We have a documented training process that we put them through.
Amazing. And so all this is incredible. You built a strong structure, but the important thing is of course bringing people in, new clients. And I just found you through Google AdSense, right? What are some tools that you're using to market your firm and so you can connect to the public and keep building your profile?
Website, Google AdWords or ads, Google ads, we call it pay-per-click ads, social media, Google local, which also includes our reviews that we receive. That's about it.
You're using the news too.
The news?
Yeah, you're on TV and
Oh, you mean public relations,
Yeah.
PR? Yeah, I used to use PR a lot more than I do now. But yes, I've used lots of PR in my career.
wow. And all that stuff has helped you build this?
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.